Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel. My name is Gopi and I am a cybersecurity architect and penetration tester. This is the second session on cybersecurity which we are talking now. Today we will discuss the cybersecurity basic terminologies and definitions. I will use these terminologies frequently in the future training sessions. Suppose if you are a beginner for cybersecurity, you can watch this video. SDLC is a software development lifecycle. PDLC is a product development lifecycle. It is a process of plan, architect, design, develop, test, operate, maintain, migrate, and decommission the application or product in organization. That we call it as SDLC or PDLC. Secure SDLC, secure PDLC. It is security practices to incorporate the security activities across the SDLC or PDLC in organization. That we call it as secure SDLC or secure PDLC. DevOps. It is a practice and have tools, technologies, process to develop and operate the applications or products or solutions. That we call it as DevOps. DevSecOps. It is a security practices to incorporate the security activities or solutions with the DevOps practices. That we call it as DevSecOps. Security audit. It is a evaluation process to measure the security is followed in the organization or followed in the software or security followed in the IT network. So that we call it as security audit. Security compliance. Process to implement and monitor the security as per the guidelines from the security regulatory bodies or security standards. That we call it as security compliance here. Security assessment. Identifying the security metrics like vulnerabilities, threats, flaws, security controls, risk in the logical way. That we call it as security assessment. Example, the cyber security requirements preparation, threat modeling, security risk analysis, risk assessment, secure coding, SAST, all it comes under the security assessment only. Security standards. Set of security rules or guidelines for products or a security process to implement and achieve the security. That we call it as security standards. There have set of security standards that we can see later. Security regulatory. Guidelines or requirements to maintain the security for products and also required security deliverables to be followed in the products. So that regulatory requirements we call it as security regulatory. There have number of security regulatory list also we can see that later. Okay, application we know. Computer program to design carry out the specific task and it is developed for users or customers. Embedded application, specialized programming in chip to control the functions for specific devices or computers. Mobile applications, basically it is the applications to run on the mobile devices. Example, Android, iOS based applications. Vulnerability. Weakness or loopholes of the system which can exploit by the attackers to damage or break the system functionalities. Example, sensitive data exposure, weak encryption and keys handling, command script injection, buffer overflow attacks. These are all the few of the sample vulnerabilities. Asset. Asset is a software, hardware or data entity which we want to protect from the cyber threats. Data flow, workflows, use cases, business logics, that also we call it as asset. Example, application login credentials, application roles configuration, connection configuration, encryption algorithm keys, storage data, data flow, workflow, business logics. These are all the some of the sample of assets for applications. Threats, possible way of attack surfaces to exploit the vulnerabilities to damage the system functionalities or to damage the system reputation. That we call it as threats here. Entry points or entry path. Hackers may execute the attacks over these entry points of the system or applications. Example, if we take the application login pages, input field, URL, database login, web server logs. These are all the sample entry points for the application. Okay, CBOM, Cybersecurity bill of materials. I will show some of the cybersecurity bill of materials later so that you can get more clarity. Third-party dependency. Systems that are used third-party components or third-party ecosystems, that we call it as third-party dependency here. Hacking incident. Incident occur to damage the system functionalities or reputation damage in the production or live system. Hackers. Adversary. Person who are executing the attacks with intentionally or unintentionally. Example, product competitors, real hackers, end user or students, unintentional users. MITM, man in the middle. Ethical hackers, security experts to penetrate the vulnerabilities and to provide required security controls, control implementation to prevent these attacks. Example, penetration tester, secure developer, secure architect. Risk rating, calculating the risk for the vulnerabilities or threats. Countermeasures, controls, security controls to mitigate the threats or vulnerabilities. Example, some of the security controls are mentioned here: strong password policy, connection session ID and timeouts configuration, strong input validation, strong encryption, secure storage, secure logging. These are all the some of the security controls for the application. SIRT, Security Incident Response Team. Okay. Security in pre-sales. Security consideration in pre-sales stage. Security requirements. Statement of security controls in the software or system that shall be fulfilled. Security plan. Security risk management plan. Security plan document to define the security process, execution approaches, roles and responsibilities for the security deliverables, all we need to document in the security plan. Security design. It is a design practices for security architecture practices for security. Threat model. It is one of the security assessment we need to conduct in the logical stage to identify the possible threats. Security risk assessment. It is a risk calculation and risk treatment for the vulnerabilities or security threats. Secure coding. It is a coding practices and coding development to implement the security. Static application security test. It is a static test to identify the source code level security issues. Software composition analysis. Software components with version and corresponding publicly known vulnerabilities for these versions. That assessment we call it as SCA. Dynamic application security test, interactive application security test, penetration test. These are all the dynamic stage test. I will show more details when I execute these activities. Okay. Threat assessment and remediation analysis, TARA. This is also one of the security assessment to identify the possible threats in the application or system. Privacy impact assessment. This is also one of the security assessment to measure the privacy related security things. Vulnerability scanning or vulnerability monitoring. So this is one of the scanning activity to identify the vulnerabilities in the runtime environment. Vulnerability analysis or vulnerability assessment. It is a process to define the vulnerabilities identification, classification, prioritization of the application or system. Security controls. Security controls are countermeasures to mitigate or minimize the security risk for the identified threats or identified vulnerabilities. Data flow. This is a model or diagram in which the entire process of data movement from one component to another component's details are defined in the data flow diagrams. Workflow diagrams. This is a logical sequence of activities or tasks that process data through a specific path. Use case. It is a logical written description how the users need to perform each task. Abuse cases. Attacker technique that uses to exploit the vulnerability of the application. Cybercrime. Criminal activities involved in application or computer or mobile devices. Security automation. It is a automation to automate any security activities in PDLC to reduce the manual work. Data set or data science. To collection of data in security to implement the machine learning for security solutions. Machine learning. Machine learning algorithms to solve the security challenges or security problems. General data protection regulation. Regulation in European Union law on data protection and privacy. Artifactory, mostly Artifactory for CI/CD pipeline. It is nothing but software packages in CI/CD pipeline. Obfuscation, changing the source code or binary files that is difficult for human to reverse engineering. Confidentiality, practice of keeping sensitive information private. Integrity, data or information in your system is maintained so that it is not modified or deleted by unauthorized parties. Availability, protecting the functionality of system and ensuring data is available at any point of time. Encryption, process of converting data or information from readable format to unreadable format. Decryption, converting encrypted information or data into readable format. Hashing or signing, signature implementation to prevent unauthorized modifications. Cryptographic, libraries and it consists encryption algorithms, hashing algorithms, signing algorithms. Transport layer security is a cryptographic library and it provides the security for transport layer. Secure socket layer. SSL is a cryptographic library and it is designed to secure the communication. Encryption keys or hashing keys. These keys are input for the algorithms to encrypt or hash the data. Encryption algorithms or hashing algorithms. Algorithms in cryptographic to encrypt or hash the data. Guidelines, set of rules or instructions to execute the security activities. Templates, template is a format of document to be followed for security. Security dashboard, it is a application to monitor and treat the security metrics, security risk for the products or applications. Okay, today we saw some of the basic security terminologies and definitions. We can see more security terminologies in future also where it is needed. Okay, what is next session plan? I will take one sample application and I will deep dive the security activities in pre-sales, how we need to prepare the security proposals, SOW. That aspect we can see in next session. Okay friends, I done this session. Thank you for watching this video. Suppose if you have any clarifications, please post in the comment section. I will see you in next training session. See you. Bye.